Up. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I am going to, hello everybody, for whoever's here. I'm going to set my timer because I can't be on too terribly long today. So I'm going to set it for 2 hours because I have to get up early. How is everybody doing? Have you all seen Top Gun Maverick yet? And why not? If no, I'm going to see it again tomorrow with my son. Not in IMAX, but just going to go watch it on the big screen again. It's so good. So he watched the first movie yesterday in preparation. And after watching the first movie, my thoughts about it haven't really changed. I still feel like it's the weaker of the two films. Maybe I appreciated it a little bit more than I did the first few times I saw it, just because I'd seen Maverick. I saw what went into that, and there were some elements about the first movie that I had forgotten. But as a whole, I still feel like it's not as good as the first one. It's not as strong as the first one. I mean, it's not as good as the second one. Maverick is superior in pretty much all ways to the first Top Gun. The storytelling was so good. I can't get it out of my brain. I'm still thinking about it. Been thinking about it ever since I saw it on Thursday. So been wanting to talk about it with people, but no one here can talk about it with me because I haven't seen it. I don't think my brothers have seen it yet. But yeah. Anyway, other than that, just busy with work and still haven't finished Moon Knight. Like half an episode away from finishing it. I know what happens, sort of. I have an idea of what happens at the end, but I don't know if that will change my viewpoint of the show or not. I mean, so far I'm liking it. Like I said, I'm almost done. I'm halfway through episode. How many episodes are there? 5 or 6. I'm halfway through the last one, and I've enjoyed it. Granted, I don't know a lot about the character, but I've enjoyed it for the most part. So there's that. I have not started Stranger Things 4 yet. I was looking forward to it. I especially appreciated hearing that there were all these references to horror franchises, and so that was kind of exciting. And then Colin mentioned on my Discord that it wasn't very good or something. I'm totally paraphrasing it, but he walked away from it not enjoying it too much. And I'm in the thumbnails of different reviewers on YouTube, by the looks on their faces, I'm starting to wonder if it's really not very good, which is disappointing. Dang it. I was hoping that maybe, especially after how long it had been since the last one. I mean, 2019 was when the last one came out. So that's disappointing. And also, what else? Oh, the Johnny Depp trial. Jury is coming back for deliberations tomorrow, Tuesday. And I'm hoping they will decide by tomorrow, because honestly, it surprised me a little bit that it took as long as it did. It's not done. It surprised me a little bit that they didn't come to a resolution on Friday, because as far as I'm concerned, it's very obvious. And I feel like he should win. Who knows what's going to happen, because you never know with the jury, and it has to be unanimous in this particular case. 7 jurors, 2 of the jurors that got kicked off were seemingly seem to be on Johnny Depp's side. So those two are gone. Some other jurors, according to people that have been inside the courtroom during the proceedings, they're hard to read. So I guess we'll see. If there is someone who's leaning in the direction of Amber Heard, I'm hoping that he or she can be swayed towards Johnny. According to lawyers that have been in the courtroom and that are just familiar with court cases in general, they said that hung juries don't usually happen. And also, it's not like this is a murder, case or anything like that. No one's going to go to jail. No one's life is going to be, in the balance or anything. I mean, you could argue figuratively, but as far as actual, something happening, nobody's going to be in physical danger from whatever the jury decides. So the chances of them being a hung jury does feel like it's going to be pretty low. It's going to be minor. So I'm going to be out most of the day tomorrow, but I'm going to be so plugged in. I have been, we went to a con this past weekend. I'm walking around Friday on YouTube. Thank goodness the convention had wireless. I was walking around. I was plugged in. I was listening to Ricada Law's live stream because I was just waiting. Are they going to come back? And then at one point I thought they had come back. And I was saying to some people that we were talking to, I was like, oh, I think the jury's back. I think the jury's back. And dang it, no. They were just replaying the closing arguments. I was so disappointed. But we'll see. So what else? I'm trying to think of anything else like entertainment related. Oh, I don't know if any of you guys saw. I had posted this on my different social media things that I'm connected to with regard to the channel. It's kind of a hassle sometimes to keep up with all of them because it's not like, so it's really nice. I can post something to YouTube, and because of the integration with Twitter or some sort of, maybe I use Zapier or something. I use something. And so when a video is posted to YouTube, I have it automatically go to my Twitter and also to my Facebook, but it doesn't automatically go to like my Instagram. And we haven't yet figured out how to have a bot put the various videos that I upload into the appropriate sort of channel on my server, because Simon created my server for me and he has it broken up. I mean, I like the way it's broken up to reaction videos, reviews, interviews, stuff like that, miscellaneous. But there's no bot that can intelligently figure out what type of video it is. Like maybe if it could draw off of what the playlist says, maybe something like that could be worked out, but I don't know how to do anything like that. So I have to remember to post to Instagram. A lot of times I forget. And then I have to remember to post to my Discord. And a lot of times I forget. Simon often will beat me to the punch on that. So, and in the meantime, I'm working. So I don't always have the time that maybe I would like to dedicate to those other social media platforms. Some of them I like more than others. Like Twitter, I like Twitter. It's quicker, it's easier. Instagram's kind of a pain. I'm not the biggest fan of Instagram. But I don't know. What else? Entertainment wise, I'm trying to think of any other films or TV shows I've seen lately. And I've got my Letterboxd up in case there's any recommendations. Let me see. I'm gonna look at my reviews. What have I reviewed? I know Top Gun. Oh, Firestarter. Oh gosh. And Doctor Strange, Memory, The Northman. I've actually done video reviews of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies that I logged on Letterboxd. I didn't do a review for King Arthur. I just had rewatched it with my son in preparation for the 2004 live stream discussion we had. Oh, okay. There was one I saw when my brother was in town. Werewolves Within. I think I watched the trailer for that. I think I did a reaction to the trailer. No, I haven't. Not yet. And I'm feeling sort of like there's some mixed reaction to that. Have you started? I don't know. I've heard things about it that make me concerned. And I guess because you know how Disney does. You know how Disney does. Anyway, so yeah, no, not yet. I want to finish Moon Knight, and I'm thinking about that I would like to do a review for Moon Knight, but it's been so long since I started the last episode. Werewolves Within was funny. I did not do a video review of that. That was like a comedy horror, and it was pretty good. And then also before that, like a couple days before that, I watched The Night House, and that was different. I liked it. I thought it was pretty well done. I didn't think that I would like it because most horror movies are not very good, even though I love horror. It's one of my favorite genres. Most of the time they suck. Even if they have high reviews from the critics, because, well, the critics are kind of a lot of times in a whole other world. But when regular people watch it, regular people like you and me, when we watch it, it's like, this is stupid. What the heck? So I was glad that The Night House ended up being pretty decent. It's nothing flashy or fancy or anything like that. And I'm not the hugest fan of Rebecca Hall. I think that's her name, the actress's name. She's just kind of meh to me, to be honest. She really doesn't do much for me as an actress. And her character in here was a little annoying, and I understand she was grieving, but she would be kind of ugly and snarky with people, and I felt like unnecessarily so. And so sometimes she got under my skin, but as a whole, I thought it was interesting. And I don't want to talk about it in too much depth in case you guys haven't seen it yet and you would like to watch it. But if you haven't seen it yet, if you like horror, that might be something that you would appreciate. Sonic the Hedgehog, I did a review of that. I also did a video review of this Indian movie Attack. It was action. I enjoyed the heck out of that thing. And someone came on my review and they said, "Oh, you should have gone to see Triple R." But I had a choice between the two, and the premise of Attack just looked much more interesting to me than Triple R, so I chose that instead. But and I don't regret it. I mean, I don't know if Triple R is going to come back to our theater. If it does, maybe. But it was just Attack with, think Super Soldier type of stuff. That's what Attack was, and I thought it was really well done. You've watched it? Okay. Really? Oh, that sucks. I thought that Filoni was going to be involved. Shoot. Well. Okay. Crap. I was looking forward to seeing Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor interact again because I felt like Ewan McGregor is just he was really good as Obi-Wan. I think he was like a perfect casting choice. Hey, Storm Shadow. I saw you've posted a couple of comments, but I haven't had a chance to respond to them. I don't even remember what they are now. If you ask them here, I'll try to answer them. I mean, I'm sure I'll be able to answer them if you ask me. So before Attack, there was Morbius. So Morbius is getting a lot of hate. And I get why. I didn't hate it as much as I hated, like, let's say, The Green Knight or Moonfall. I just felt like it had so much more potential, and it really didn't live up to it. So it's kind of disappointing. I rewatched Daredevil with Arturo in preparation for the 2003 movie discussion. He hasn't even started watching films for the 2005 movie discussion yet. He's seen, as we're progressing further into the 2000s. He has seen more films, obviously, than he did films from the 80s and the 90s. So there's still a lot to choose from, but it's a more limited pool of titles to choose from because he's seen several films. I know he's going to watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I think he might watch King Kong, and I don't remember what other titles I had in the 2005 list. I don't recall. I did a review for X. Out of Time was a Denzel Washington movie. I talked about that during the 2003 discussion. That was actually really good. Well, The Outfit. If you guys haven't seen The Outfit yet, you should try to watch it. I did do a video review of it. It's really good. I think we watched it. I watched it again when my brother was in town, and he really liked it. My mom and dad really liked it. It's kind of rare for my mom and dad and my brothers and I, or just one brother was in town, but it's kind of rare for all of us to enjoy something equally. And that's a movie. It's really good. It's contained in this one scene, this guy's tailor shop, if you haven't seen my review. And most of the events of the movie take place over the course of this one evening. There's some stuff before it kind of leads up to what's happening, but most of what's going on happens throughout this one night, and it's just so well done. I was just super impressed. Oh, yeah, it was about the Supernatural prequel. I have not seen the trailer, and I remember hearing talk about the Supernatural prequel. Is this the one that Jensen Ackles is involved in? That there was like his involvement in it ended up causing some sort of talk of friction between him and Jared. No, I haven't. I don't even have the trailer on my to watch list yet, but I think I'll probably check it out. Okay. So you're interested in... Oh, oh no, that's okay. This kind of like a open line sort of thing. It's all right. I do try to keep things. And thank you for those kind words, though. By the way, that's very sweet of you. I do mostly try to keep my channel and live streams confined to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Neutral territory, like movies, TV shows, but occasionally things come in, and I have really been just like on this Johnny Depp trial. So I've done mostly videos relating to the Johnny Depp trial. I am obsessed with that trial and pulling for him so hard. So some of my material lately has been more on the, kind of the more serious side. I mean, even though what I'm reacting to as far as the Johnny Depp trial is funny stuff, it's Aussie Man. That guy, oh my gosh, he's so funny. I'm all caught up. I don't think he has any new videos yet. I think the last one I watched was part 6, and he has COVID. So I don't know when he'll get around to doing the next one. Probably not until after the trial. I mean, until after it's over, until after the jury comes back, which will hopefully be tomorrow, please. So by the time he gets back to it, it's going to be over, I think. And I have heard from, who is it reporting this? It might be DUI guy on Twitter. I've been watching a lot of his stuff too. I think he's reported that Amber Heard is supposed to be in the courtroom when the jury comes back, because I guess she's still in the area, or maybe she's planning to come back this week. But Johnny Depp will not be in the courtroom. He's gone off to, like, I don't know if he's on tour or something. He went and he was playing somewhere in the UK in a concert. So he might have had obligations that he, can't cancel or break away from. I really do wish that he would come back. But if he's overseas, obviously he can't. But I feel like it's unfortunate that he's not going to be there. There's just this vindictive part of me that would love it if when the jury comes back, Johnny's there, Amber's there, and just, yeah, that's probably ugly of me, but there's just a part of me that would love for that to happen. I would have loved for the jury to come back on Friday, because that would have been 6 years to the day that she started all this mess, plus on his daughter's birthday. That would have been such poetic justice. Love it. Everyone, yes, it is a worldwide phenomenon. It's crazy how much attention it's captured. I'm so glad. It really deserves it. I'm so happy. And you know, something that's fascinating to me is that I have noticed on Twitter, and now the news media, I feel like the news media is being really, okay, especially in the beginning. A lot of times the way they would report on the trial was so freaking misleading, you guys. It was really misleading. And see, this is why a lot of times, unless you're paying attention to a trial, if you're not in there and watching a lot of what's happening, if you're only going by what you see in the news, reading headlines, skimming through the news articles, then a lot of times when a jury comes back with a decision, it will surprise people. Well, let me rephrase. It will surprise people that haven't been paying attention. There have been various high-profile trials that people got really, really upset about the way the way the jury decided. But if they had been watching the trial, if they had been paying attention to the facts presented as like straight from the source, as opposed to the media, which very often does not represent accurately what's happening. And also, you get more out of watching the way people are saying something as opposed to just reading it on on paper. And so there have been people that have just been so surprised at a jury's decision because they felt like, well, surely it's supposed to go the certain way that they want it to go. But that's just because like that's what they want, but they're not paying attention. So then they're all shocked and surprised. And some of them downright angry when something happens. But and now every once in a while, a jury will return a verdict that makes no sense given the evidence. O.J. Simpson trial is one that comes to mind. But for the most part, on the Casey Anthony trial, things like that. For the most part, though, in other cases, they'll return verdicts that make complete sense to people who have watched it. But you never know with the jury. You never know. And I hope to goodness. But like I said, because it's not like a murder trial, I just have a feeling based on the people, the legal experts that are in the courthouse watching the jury, and they've got a sense about these sorts of things. You know, they're, like they said, there's some jurors that can't read very well, but there's other jurors that they can, and they just feel like as a whole, they feel like there's a very good chance that Depp is going to win. They just don't necessarily know what he might get. I think DUI guy predicted Depp would probably get like $7 million, exactly what he had to pay to her, in the divorce. So yes, it is. It is very important. I'm so glad it's being talked about. Oh, I know what I was getting ready to say. Something that I noticed, like on Twitter and in other social media platforms like Facebook, this trial has brought together so many people on opposite ends of the, like, let's say the ideological spectrum. I see, people with blue waves in their little profile thing, and like MAGA type people or Republican type people, conservatives and liberals, leftists. Well, I don't like to use liberal to describe a leftist, but let's say leftists, right wingers, conservatives, all that. Most of them are just so together on this thing. It's like, well, thank you, Amber Heard, for bringing so many people together. It's beautiful. To think of Emily Blunt's Wild Target and Brendan Gleeson's The Guard. I don't know anything about that. Are they new trailers? Let me look it up. I haven't heard about Wild Target, I don't think. Let me see. Oh, no, it's not new. Oh, it's a black comedy film? Oh, it's got Martin Freeman in it. Cool. I've never heard of this. It looks like fun, so I'm going to put it in my Letterboxd watch list. Hold on a second. I've got it open up here. Wild. I like Emily Blunt. Wait. Oh, I spelled it wrong. It looks like fun. Okay. And the other one, Brendan Gleeson's The Guard. I don't think I've heard of that one either. From 2011. Okay. When a small-town Irish cop with a crass personality is partnered with a straight-laced FBI agent. Okay. Oh, Don Cheadle. Okay. I never heard of these. Okay, they both went in my to-watch list. Yes. I do too. She reminds me of some of the worst. Oh. Yeah. And you know what's fascinating is on the stand, she demonstrated exactly what Dr. Curry described. It was just fascinating. She acted exactly. It was like, wow. And I don't know if she really thought she was fooling people with her theatrics, her fake crying and everything. But boy, I feel like she's not fooling most people. She's a terrible actress. Terrible. She did an awful job on the stand. It was so cringe. I was torn between just like wanting to gag and roll my eyes or laugh. And sometimes I just laughed because it was so pathetic. So pathetic. What separates your love of movies over, say, TV shows or anime? So I think the reason. So I like all forms. Like I like anime. I'm not super into it, and there's a lot I don't know about it. But there's some anime that I really enjoy, and I like TV shows. But I think I gravitate more to movies because, and this is what I think is the main reason. Because you don't have as much of a time investment with movies. Generally, you're done in about 2 hours, and that's it. Unless there's, obviously a series of movies, but even still, it's not as much of a time commitment as, let's say, getting involved in watching Game of Thrones. Also, something else that gets under my skin about TV shows, especially if they're new and you're watching them as they're coming out, when it's done, you have to wait for a resolution. And then sometimes they get canceled. That's annoying. But yeah, that's the main reason. It's quicker to watch a movie, and also for review purposes too, just because you can't always, like, if there's a TV show you want to review, you have to break it down by season. And that's kind of, I don't know, that just it just feels like it flows better to just mostly focus on movies. But I do watch shows. Like I said, I would kind of like to do a review for Moon Knight, but I'm not sure. It's been a couple weeks since I even started the last episode, and then I haven't finished it yet. Not because, and that reminds me, I need to turn on my computer so I can watch it later. That robot, like when I speak, yeah, right? And the fake, like the crying, and then she like glanced at the jury to see if they were buying it, and then she just like these dry sobs, and just more and more and more and more. It was like, just stop. Just stop. You're terrible. The next day, the second day, when she was first on the stand, the second day of her direct, she did manage to have a little bit of a sniffle or two. I did see a little bit of a glisten. She worked really hard to squeeze that moisture out, let me tell you. And I don't know what the heck she sniffed up her nose at one point, but there has been a lot of speculation about that, like wondering if it was Coke or if it was menthol or something to make her, you know, agitate her sinuses. My guess is that likely being narcissistic Amber Heard, she doesn't just think she's fooling people, but further thinks she's the yeah, she does. She does. And the clashes with her and Camille, that was, you guys, that last cross between Camille and Amber during the rebuttal stuff, that was a thing of beauty. Oh, I loved it. I was so happy. I mean, it feels like you're watching a freaking sports game or something. That's how, exciting it felt. And the battle of wits and Amber thinking that she was just completely being logical when she sounded like an absolute idiot. It was just, and the whole thing about the pledging and the donation and that in her mind to pledge something meant the same thing as that she had paid something, that she'd actually done it. Who is she fooling? Who? The handful of people who still support her for whatever reason, but oh my gosh. Yes, the conversation that has been on Pluto. Harrison Ford was in that. That's been on Pluto TV multiple times, and I've had it playing in the background while I'm working. So I knew that Gene Hackman was in it, but I'd never noticed Harrison Ford was in it. And it looked like something that was pretty interesting, but I never really paid. I knew it was something about he overhears something and it's some sort of big deal. And that's all I know about it. But maybe I should rewatch it and pay attention to it. I like Gene Hackman. I totally never noticed that Harrison Ford was in that. What? It's got really high. Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola. He also did Black Stallion. No need to apologize. No need. It's all right. Was just talking about whatever. This is just kind of it's like an open chat. I generally had planned to do these sorts of things about once a month, but the problem is we're in the middle of the series. Sorry. The live stream of the movie discussions of the different years. And so I don't always have time to insert just a casual live stream chat, in between those. But I felt like it would be kind of good to do it. And it's been a while since I've had one of these, and it's Memorial Day. And so my day has been a little lighter. I've still been working, but my day's been a little bit more open and free than typical. I think probably my next one will be on the 3-year anniversary of when I posted my first video that's public. So this channel initially started in November of 2018. I posted a video. My idea for the channel at that time was it was going to be sort of like a decluttering vlog type thing, but I'm terrible at keeping on top of stuff like that. Plus I was too busy really just with work and stuff. And so then, and plus, I mean, it didn't really interest me enough to want to keep making that sort of content. So I decided to focus on stuff that I like, which is talking about movies, stories, TV shows, stuff like that. And the inspiration for starting this channel was watching people like Grace Randolph and other reactors. Some other girl, I can't remember her name, Jacqueline somebody. And initially I started off mostly just reacting to trailers. And then I expanded my scope and was doing reviews and then also reactions to comedy and things like that. Now that started in 2020 when the world was absolutely losing its mind. And so that's just kind of what my focus is mostly. And I don't usually talk about current event type hot button stuff. I really don't. But the thing with Johnny and Amber, that was a whole different scenario. And I have brought up things like, issues that affect, the stuff, the double standard with towards men and things like that, and their treatment in pop culture and movies and stuff. And so that kind of ties in a little bit. Plus they're both entertainers, but it's really not my main focus, stuff like that. Well, I hope they don't do something like that, and they should not. And I don't agree with that if it happens. But honestly, I would indeed be flabbergasted if he were to lose this. That would shock me to pieces, because I've been watching the trial, as have many people. And I think that if he loses, it will shock mostly people that have been paying attention. Probably wouldn't shock people that haven't been paying attention, because they probably still think he's an abuser. That's what I think. So it would be really, really strange if that happens. Let's not forget I know. That meme, you guys, not a meme. It was like a funny TikTok thing. I would post it here, but YouTube doesn't like you to post non-YouTube links. Anyway, there's a funny compilation video of people making fun of her, talking about her dog stepped on a bee, and the face she makes. It's funny. A true pathologist, yeah. I watch her wondering if there's anything she doesn't lie about. Did you see how they even caught her fake? Yeah, I saw that. It's like, doesn't look like the pen's touching it all. Now, there are times that it does look like she really is writing, but I don't know what that was about. I don't know if it was just like, I have no idea. That was really weird. And then what clearly looks like her posing for a camera shot. I know Ozzy Man doesn't think that's what it was, but that really looked like that's what it was. Especially because we know that's the type of person she is. When it came out about the TMZ stuff and her showing up at the courthouse and TMZ being alerted that she was going to have a bruise on her right cheek. And so they, for them to get a picture. Oh my gosh. Hey, Chris. Haven't paid attention to the trial except well, Ozzy Man's doing a pretty good job of recapping everything. I love his take on this, on the whole thing. It's really, he's so funny. And I think part of what makes it funny to me is just also his accent, because I love the Aussie accent, and just hearing some of the stuff that he's saying, it tickles me. The scariest movie okay. So the synopsis is, it says that, I'm going to refresh my memory because I just only have a very superficial understanding. He's a surveillance expert. He's hired by a mysterious client's brusque aide to tell a young couple. He's tracking them through San Francisco's Union Square. He and his associate, they managed to record a cryptic conversation between them. Tormented by memories of a previous case that ended badly, he becomes obsessed with the resulting tape, trying to determine if the couple are in danger. I really need to pay attention to this film. The interesting thing will be, when I watch it, it will be like watching a whole new film, because even though it has been playing multiple times on Pluto TV in the past, and I just have I've only paid attention to fragments of it, I honestly do not know how this thing ends. I don't remember. Even though I've been exposed to it, I don't remember. I also don't usually pay attention to celebrity culture, but made an exception for this trial. Sort of been tuning in and out over the weeks. It's been a long trial. There was a week in between. I mean, there was like a week break in between. They went like for, I think, 3 weeks. And then maybe they took off a week because the judge had to attend a conference. And then they came back for another 2 weeks. And that's when Amber's side had just started right before the break. And she had just started telling her fantastical stories, and all of a sudden, all these new tales of things he had done from the very beginning, apparently, that she'd never talked about before. Excuse me while I pour my coffee. I made my coffee because I knew I'd be streaming at the time that I usually make my coffee in the evenings. But I'm also going to go ahead and drink it a little early because I have to go to bed a little early. Because I've got somewhere to be tomorrow, but also, in all honesty, it's also because I want to be on jury watch. See if the jury comes back. So in the mornings during the trial, first thing I do is turn on my phone and pull up Rekieta Law's live stream. So he's probably going to be live streaming as they wait for the jury. And yeah, so there's that. Okay, back to movies and stuff. You know, there was this video that I was going to do, and I still plan to. I just haven't done it yet. Simon had given me this suggestion to do like a, let's say, top 5 or top 3 or whatever of films that I consider to be perfect films. Not necessarily my favorite films, not even necessarily in my top 10, though some of them are going to be from my top 10, but films that I consider perfect. And I went back and forth over like which ones to pick, and I came up with my list, but I have not created the slideshow yet, and so I haven't filmed it yet. And let's see what else. I'll go back to some of my recent films I've seen. What films have you guys seen recently that's really good? Like new or older ones, doesn't matter. Doctor Strange. So I did do a review of that. I did enjoy it, but it was not my favorite MCU film. And I actually gave it the same rating that I gave Memory, the Liam Neeson movie. I think the reason I rated Memory as high as I did, I gave it 3.5. The reason I rated it as high as I did is because I was pleasantly surprised to see how much of an improvement it was over his last movie. Yeah, The Man from Earth, that's the David Bowie one, right? You know, watched that movie years and years ago. I like David Bowie, and so I watched that movie mostly because of him. And I wasn't crazy about that film, to be honest. Yeah, I know it's pretty. I think they're remaking it. But maybe I should rewatch it, because when I saw it the first time, I saw it only once. I've seen bits and pieces of it in passing since then, like on Pluto TV or whatever. But I remember not caring for it too much, even though I like David Bowie. But it's very possible if I rewatched it, I would feel differently, because when I first saw it, I was a teenager. So, okay. So you would find out if I post a review of it. And, I think in order to, unless you specifically go to my channel to watch something, you have to click on like the notification bell, which is supposed to tell you, or, you know, let you know when a new video is posted. It doesn't always work. From what I understand, it's pretty sketchy. So I guess you would just have to check every once in a while and see if I've got a review up. I get asked that question a lot. So my husband, the first time he saw me, he thought I was Latina. I'm not Latina. I did do a DNA thing. So, okay, yeah, I've got like 1%. 1% from Mexico, 1% from like less, like different areas in Central and South, Central and South America, Mexico, Central and South America. But no, I'm not Hispanic. I'm not Native American. I had always been told that we had Native American in our family. And my grandfather, to me, he always looked like he could have, and that's where I told it came from. But my brother did a DNA test. My dad has done a DNA test. I've done a DNA test. There's no Native American, American Indian in our history. I do have some Asian, like China. I know that like the Indians, the Native American Indians, and those that filtered down in through Mexico, Central and South America, they came from Asia, but like little tiny fragments from China, like what? But mostly, I think the biggest chunk is maybe from the UK, because I know our family, or my dad's family, came over like generations and generations ago, came over from the UK, people with his name. And maybe there's some French, there's some German, there's some Italian. So, yeah. But when I speak Spanish to somebody who's a native Spanish speaker, the first few words, they think I'm native, and they talk really fast. and I have to tell them to slow down, because I'm conversationally fluent enough to get my point across, but not enough to have a really in-depth conversation, which is frustrating. Frustrating because my husband's Mexican, and I would like to be able to fluently speak Spanish. The man from... Okay, hold on. Oh, I'm thinking The Man Who Fell to Earth. Derp. I'm sorry about that. Hold on, let me look it up. Jeez, that was a big... Oh, okay, so it's a 2007. I've never heard of this. The impromptu goodbye party for Professor John Ullman becomes a mysterious interrogation after the retiring scholar reveals to his colleagues he never ages and he's walked the earth for 14,000 years. That sounds crazy, but I'll put it in my watch list. Thanks for clarifying that. I'm sorry, I screwed up on that one. Jeez. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to... I don't think I recognize... The guy's face looks familiar, but I don't know if I've seen him before. Okay, well, that one's in my to-watch list. I've been watching more Japanese animated movies. I've also been following a few anime episodes weekly. Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 is currently going on. The first season was great. My son has been trying to get me into watching Rising of the Shield Hero, and I would like to. I do plan to. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And then the terrible news about the voice actor who does the main character in there. That's so sad. He's so young. What the heck? So that will be sad, watching that and getting to the season where he's not doing the voice in there anymore. How are you doing, little poet boy? Hope you're doing good. The first season was great. So is the second one the one where he has not returned, or is that a season 3? I don't remember which one he had to bow out of. Don't mind if he loses. The vast majority know the truth, so the injustice would provide a stronger challenge to the legitimacy of accepted modern ideas around male privilege. Well, a lot of people have been saying he doesn't care about the money. It's okay even if he loses, he's got his story out. But the reason that I hope that it will bother me if he loses is because he will still forever have this legal mantle over him. Like when he lost the UK trial, because that whole thing was a mess. He'll just have this hanging over him. And it would be just beautiful and wonderful if that can be eradicated. That in the court, his name will have been cleared to whatever extent it can be in this type of trial. So I really hope. I will be just so sad for him if he doesn't win. Flying back to Alaska to work from Texas. Flying back to so you were working in Texas. Oh, you live in Alaska. Did you tell me this before? If you did, I must have forgotten. I don't think I could live in Alaska. I mean, mostly because of the whole daylight and nighttime situation there. I think I would have some terrible, just mostly be sad and down in the dumps all the time. Plus, it's cold. The second season. Okay, so it's the second season. Poor guy. It doesn't sound good for him, unfortunately. Stage 4, and it's in multiple places. It just does not sound good. That's really sad. I once fielded a phone call from a colleague's mom in Argentina. I answered no está aquí, which was it was enough for her, and I didn't understand the word. You know what the worst? I really dislike speaking Spanish on the phone because at least when you're face to face, whether it's, live face to face or through video chat, at least you can sort of put together what they're explaining, because a lot of people talk with their hands and they'll make these motions to sort of, indicate to you what they're talking about. But on the phone, you don't have any of that. And I do not like to talk on the phone in Spanish. I try to avoid it at all costs. You work okay. You only work in Alaska, seasonal. Okay. So this time of year in Alaska, what's the daylight versus dark time ratio in Alaska? I would imagine it's probably you're getting most daylight now, because if you're working seasonally, it would make more sense that you would be working at a time of the year that there's maximum sunlight. Yeah, I know. He went past his donation, his goal early on, Arturo. So have there been any updates on there? Because I haven't checked in a little while. Oh, and have you decided what 2005 movie you want to watch whenever we watch one? Just want to know that. I guess we'll watch one Wednesday, but Mr. and Mrs. Smith, maybe. There's different ones. I can't remember off the top of my head now. Let me see. I think I made a list. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, 2005 movie. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, as a late note, okay. You said Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Is that what you said? I couldn't remember. That's what we actually agreed on. Rising of the Shield Hero Season 2 is ongoing. I get to watch on the same day as Japan because of me living. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Lucky you. I'm assuming you watch subtitle. I'm just making that assumption. Shoot. Where's my movie list? Let me put it on this monitor up here. Okay, so I wrote down, I think you've seen Chronicles of Narnia already, Arturo. I wrote down King Kong, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, just because Johnny Depp, but I'm not personally interested. I was never really interested in it. Assault on Precinct 13, which is a remake from, was that a John Carpenter film? The original? Alone in the Dark, which has Christian Slater in it, and I don't think I've ever seen that. Oh, also Sin City. That's based on a graphic novel, and the way they filmed that movie is really interesting. It's different. So that's probably something you might want to see. The Amityville Horror, which is a remake of the first one. I wrote down The Interpreter. I also wrote down Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but I'm not really interested in that myself, so I never watched it. War of the Worlds, which is a remake. It's got Tom Cruise in it, and the little girl who played in the movie with Denzel where she'd been kidnapped. And she screams a lot in that movie. It's actually really, really annoying. Fantastic Four. You've already seen that. The Island. The Island. The Island. That one. Stealth. Four Brothers, which I watched that a few years ago. It was pretty good. The 40-Year-Old Virgin, which is really funny. Red Eye. The Brothers Grimm, just because it has Heath Ledger in it, but The Cave, which I don't think I've seen. The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is based on a true story. Cry Wolf, which has one of the guys from Supernatural in it, and I've seen it a couple times. It's not too bad. Flight Plan and A History of Violence. Those are things that I wrote down just on my quick, glance through the movies from 2005. Yes, it was. Oh, it was. It got started off decently. I liked it okay the first half, and then oh my gosh, just second half and onward is just like, wow, this is really bad. This is really bad. Why? What a lost opportunity. I had mentioned in my review that I would have been happy if they'd have just done an actual shot-to-shot remake of the original. And then someone, can't remember who it was, someone said that they didn't think I would be happy if that had been done. But I really would have. I really would have, because I like the original, the way it flows and the different the shots and the different scenes and how they played out. I like that. But I always felt like it could be improved upon with, better effects and stuff like that. So I would have been pleased as pie if that's what they had done. But no, they went in a whole other direction. Okay. I would have already decided what to watch when the category is a movie from 2000. Sin City, hands down. Yeah, I wrote that just because of how different it was. I feel like he'd probably enjoy it, appreciate it. Yeah, I don't regret watching it to the point that I did movies like Moonfall and The Green Knight, but boy, it was not. Oh, I like Flight of the Navigator. I watched that a long time ago, maybe 2 or 3 times. It's been a bit since I've seen it, but I always enjoyed it. I also like this movie called Daryl. He was like a robot, I don't know, it's like a robot kid. I always like that. That plays a lot of times on Pluto TV. History of Violence is not bad. Oh, Constantine. Yeah, Constantine. I saw Constantine. Oh, no. Hold on. I also have Domino, The Fog, Doom, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Jarhead, Walk the Line, The New World, Match Point, The Matador, and I'm going to write down Constantine. I guess I didn't realize that was 2005. I remember it was okay, but I wasn't as impressed with it as I thought I would be, but maybe a rewatch would change my mind. I like The Island. I really like that movie. I enjoy it a lot. It's Michael Bay. I don't care. It's fun and it's good. Stealth. Yeah, isn't that the one with Jessica Biel or something? I never watched it, but I wouldn't mind. Cinderella Man. Yeah, I've heard parts of it. I never watched it. I remember my husband was watching it in the car in the back seat, like in the DVD player when we were driving to somewhere. I can't remember where. And I could hear it. And I know what it's about, but I never watched it all the way through. That'd probably be something my folks would like. Yeah. Yeah, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was great. So was the original. I'm not I don't turn my nose up at the dubbed. I actually prefer dubbed when it comes to animation. Yeah, there's so many. We're not going to be able to watch all of them for sure, but I was just writing down ones that jumped out at me as good titles. So yeah, you talking about the ending to Firestarter? I know. It felt so it felt so rushed at the end, and they just hurried on up and went through it, and just the setup and the characters, especially like the bad lady character, they did gender swapping all that on her, but she just felt one-dimensional, whereas, like, let's say Charlie Sheen's character in the original and also George C. Scott's character in the original, they just felt like they'd been developed better. I don't know, just so yeah. Yes, Moonfall, not terrible. Been telling everyone. Simon wrote on the Discord server a while back. He said, I'm going to paraphrase. He said something like, I watched Moonfall. I don't want to talk about it. Like he'd been scarred or something. It's just, oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Well, these are the different movies that will probably come up in conversation. And most of these I have watched, but not all. So the ones I wrote down that I haven't watched, I watched because I wasn't sure if maybe Arturo would like to watch it. So then therefore I might be able to watch it for the first time myself. Pride and Prejudice. Okay. Yeah, I didn't write that one down because I'm not a big Jane Austen fan. But I believe this is the one with Keira Knightley, right? She was kind of big. My favorite Terminator movie. Really? Okay. So in all my videos, I've got this image up here, like up in this, like in this area of my screen. I even have a shirt with that artwork on it. And I haven't taken a picture of it yet, but so I made sound panels in my office because I also do recording in here. So I made sound panels in my office to help with the reverb. But I've made them in with movie posters. So I did like Wonder Woman. I put a picture of that up. And so then the last one we made, which I haven't hung it yet, and I'm going to put it right back here. Right back there. It's that Terminator, that artwork on my videos. Made a big sound panel. It's cool. I'm going to make several more. Maybe one for here, a vertical one there. I put up the artwork for the sound panels. Maybe one on the ceiling here. Maybe one or two. I don't know. I don't know. So, your sucker for Ray? Yeah. I read about his story when I found out the movie was coming out. Moon. I saw Moon way back when, like 2009, 2010. I enjoyed it, but honestly, I do not remember how it ended. I watched it with my brother, my big brother, the buff guy, the one who was in the, well, both my brothers were in one of my recent live streams where we were talking with a family friend of ours and having lively arguments over different Batman subjects. I had to read it in school. It was okay. It wasn't the worst thing I'd ever had to read in school, but I would never voluntarily read Jane Austen. She's not the worst, but it's just I don't care too much. Or the poster back on the wall. You talking about that one? The Terminator one? I have a Wonder Woman 1984 poster. I still haven't hung it up because I don't really actually have a place for it. And now if my son is watching, he's going to want to claim it for his own. I do want to put it up. Maybe I can put it up over there. Sorry, I hit the camera. My room is more narrow. My new office. I still call this my new office, even though I've been in here for. No, you will not, Arturo. No, you won't. Yeah, that Terminator poster. Oh my gosh, it's really hard for me because everything's opposite on the camera. That Terminator poster was given to me by my cousin Corey, who has joined us on some of our live streams. He has a channel, Corey Michaels Movies. He recently did a review for the Top Gun movie. Y'all go see Top Gun. It's so good. It's so good. I loved it. And I was watching last night. I was watching like how they filmed it. Oh my goodness. I keep picking up my coffee and I'm drinking it. I was watching how they filmed that movie and it was insane. So they had to go through like 3 to 5 months of training beforehand like training to get them used to the G-forces because they filmed in the plane. Now, in the first Top Gun movie, the only scenes of someone really in a plane. So some of their scenes, obviously, you could, it's like blue screen type stuff or something, green screen, whatever. But there were some scenes with Tom Cruise in the plane. They were only able to use his stuff because he was the only one that wasn't throwing up and passing out when they were flying. I mean, this guy's a machine. So he designed this regimen for the actors that were going to be the pilots in the film. And they had to go through some intense training, like the dunking underwater, getting used to the G-forces, gradually moving up to the type of plane they were going to be flying in for the movie. They started off with a little Cessna, then moved up to something else, and then moved up to something else, finally to the planes they were going to be in. And so they figured out how to put IMAX type cameras in. They made them small enough to be able to put them in the cockpit with the actors. And of course, the pilots, the real pilots, they wouldn't let Tom Cruise fly because he can't do the type of stuff that had to be done, some of the stunt work in there. And so the real pilots are flying, and the cameras are in front of the actors, and the actors, when they all went up, this is what blew my mind. I didn't realize this. When they would all go up and do their flying for whatever scenes they had to do, they'd be gone for let's say an hour or whatever. And the director would be out of contact with them. And so the actors, I can't remember if they said that the actors were operating the cameras or if they just started the cameras before they went off. But anyway, the actors had to be responsible for directing themselves, basically. Can you imagine? That's probably pretty doggone challenging. And they all did such a good job. I'm just astounded at how good that movie was. I just was not expecting to enjoy it. Sort of like, there was a book I worked on. An audiobook I worked on, not through the company that I work with, but it was like a side job with one of the actresses that works with our company. She's also a singer, Annie Ellicott. I've talked about her before. She tours with Jeff Goldblum, because she sings and he plays the piano and stuff. Anyway, I did this audiobook, and it was a lit RPG book. I'm not crazy about lit RPG, y'all. Game lit RPG. I'm not crazy about it at all, but that makes up the majority of the types of books I work on. Anyway, it was a lit RPG book based on this girl going into this game world, an AI game world that was based on or modeled after Pride and Prejudice. That was a fun book. That was a fun book. Hey, Joe, how are you doing? Have you seen any good films lately? Have you seen Top Gun Maverick? I've got that movie on the brain, you guys. I can't help it. Okay, dogs, you want to get down? Want to get down? Okay. Hold on. I'll let my dogs down. Sorry, Levi. Poor little thing. He's okay. Poor thing. Anyway, hold on. I'm gonna get that mixed up with something. So let me look it up. Yes, I have seen Wind River. I enjoyed it. Okay. Yeah, I liked it. All right. Right. Okay, do you agree with me that it's better than the first one? Because I think it's totally better than the first one. And you can't change my mind if you disagree. So don't even try. So good. So good. Sorry, I hope that when I'm drinking this coffee, it's not making really loud slurpy noises on the mic. I probably should have just had my coffee before I did the live stream because I don't like loud slurpy noises myself. Yeah. I something that I thought was funny was, what's her name? Girl who played in here, in Wind River, how she played in Oh my gosh, Elizabeth Olsen. She played in Old Boy, the American remake of Old Boy, which I saw before I saw the original, and surprisingly, I enjoy that better than the original. But she played in there with Josh Brolin, and so it was weird. The situation of their characters was strange. Was strange in there. Okay, good. I'm glad. if it gets gross, you can let me know. But I usually have my coffee around this time. Yes. No, it's not better than T2. No, it is not. Okay. Okay, good. Good. You saved yourself. Saved yourself. Good recovery. But yeah, it's just, and it deserves to be seen on the big screen. I mean, honestly, I just am so fascinated at how good that Chibi. That's my little dog. Okay, good. I'm glad. Oh, yes. So Arturo got this from his theater where he works.
I'll be taking it upstairs.
I thought you were going to give it to me to use in my display back here.
I mean, yeah, but once I see the movie, then I'll change my mind.
You probably will. But see, then this covers up. See? See, so I like ASMR, but I don't like mouth noise ASMR. I can't stand mouth noise, and it just really, really bothers me to hear this, to hear stuff like that.
You want to put your face up in the camera.
Which is why that doctor that had that weird thing on the stand where he was like, she's going to hit the video. That was gross. But yeah, love ASMR, but not mouth noise ASMR. My day job is I work on audiobooks. I'm an audiobook proofer.
Woo-hoo!
And I posted up something recently, which was really exciting for our company. There's this series of books we publish. It's written by the author Matt Dinneman, very popular lit RPG series of books that he writes called Dungeon Crawler Carl. Dungeon Crawler Carl. And actually, it's 5 books in the series now. The 5th book was recently released. In the 3rd book, we had the Critical Drinker come on and do some voices or a voice of a character for us in that book. And that recording session was videotaped. And I got permission from Will. That's his name, the Critical Drinker. I got permission from him to do a reaction to it. I've been sitting on that video for well over a year. I keep forgetting it's right on my laptop. And I haven't reacted to it yet. So, but I'll get around to it at some point. So anyway, I'm an audiobook proofer. And I love audiobooks. It's like best job ever. But unfortunately, I'm not crazy about lit RPG so much. But this Dungeon Crawler Carl series, come on. This Dungeon Crawler Carl, that's a twister for me. Dungeon Crawler Carl. That series is very popular, and recently, I think we've changed. The ranking is different now, but a few days ago, our book broke into the top 10 and was beating Matthew McConaughey's Green Lights audiobook, which was really exciting. That was cool. And that Matthew McConaughey book is really good. I may have seen a clip of that, but I never watched Wayne's World. But I think I have a vague memory of him doing. He also did a cameo in Last Action Hero. The licking. Yeah, and some people really like the mouth noise stuff. So there's all sorts of videos about that. But what I like are things like when people brush the mic with like a brush or with their fingers, or they put things on the mic that make these tappy type of sounds. I like tapping. I like whispers, no mouth noise, Some people like eating, chewing sounds, ASMR, people eating, and that's nasty to me. No, that's so nasty. Yeah, no, I never saw it, so going to need to hire a narrator for an urban dark fantasy book I'm writing and plan to publish. Okay. Well, have you written a book before? Have you published a book before? It's easiest to go through Amazon. That's how my brother published his 2 books. No, I don't think I did hear about that. I don't think so. Oops. First time publisher. Okay. Writing a book is no easy task.
No, it ain't.
So,
no, it ain't.
Best of luck with that.
No, it ain't.
I love ASMR, but not the mouth. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, she doesn't love the mouth.
Oh, I don't think I've seen any of her videos. I think some of my favorites are Gentle Whispering, and then also there's one called ASMR Bakery.
There's this Korean ASMR girl that I follow. I like her too.
Is she the one that doesn't talk?
No, she talks.
Okay.
She speaks like pretty good English.
Okay, I generally prefer it when they don't talk, but if they do talk, I prefer it to be soft whispers and no mouth clicky noises. ASMR Bakery and maybe one called ASMR Love. I like those because it's just like things brushing the mic or tapping or soft brushing sounds. Those work the best for me. Oh yeah, that can be hard because, you know, the publishing industry, they don't make it easy for people to try to get their foot in, like, especially to try to find an agent. So
I mean, that's why I just rather publish my own book without.
It's a stand-up routine he filmed himself before he died. Oh, okay. No, I had not heard about that. Well, it's easiest to publish yourself. So anyway. So okay, Arturo, I think we were getting our communication crossed. It was Mr. and Mrs. Smith, or did you want to see the island?
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
And maybe then the island, I guess.
I got to see if we have, let me check our Voodoo account.
So if by 99 point, no, maybe it's not a 99% chance. But
see if we have it.
Do you think my book would possibly sell okay? Because it's an anime book. An anime right now.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about graphic novels and stuff. I don't know.
Have you even heard about manga blowing up in 2020? Have you forgot about that?
Oh yeah, that's right.
It blew
okay,
up.
Here we go. So
it blew.
We do have Mr. and Mrs. Smith on Voodoo.
We do.
And also Arturo Sin City. So someone here says, I have to advocate for Sin City. I have to tell everyone needs to see that movie at least once. I agree. It's worth watching at least once. It's definitely unique. And I kind of like the style of it. I thought it was interesting. The visuals. Excuse me. I think these dogs. I feel like I nailed a piece of fur.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
How dare you do this to her?
Oh, geez.
Need some water?
Probably.
Do you even have water?
Yes, I do.
Oh, Chip.
Lord.
How do you do this to her?
Oh, sorry, y'all. Jeez. I hate when that happens. Okay. Jeez. Are you going to do a review of Top Gun?
You know, by this point, I'm not going to even bother doing reviews up right away because the Multiverse Madness didn't do that well.
No?
For me, no. I mean, Sonic did okay. The one that's done a bit better has been the comic book review.
A comic
the
book
Dark
review.
Stalker review of the comic book because it recently came out this year.
Oh,
That did actually better. Like it's up to like 200 and something views right now. By this point, I'd rather just take my times doing a review, you know, because I could put more effort into it instead of rushing it out real quick.
but by the time you get it up,
Oh well.
for a
I
new
noticed
movie,
games have done better. Like games or anime have done a lot better for me.
oh,
I mean,
well,
I still want to do movie reviews. It's just, I think it's gonna
maybe
be a
that's
bit
what you
limited.
should stick with.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna focus more on the games and anime right now because that seems like the top tier at the moment. Like retro game stuff is going up, which I have a lot of retro games. Anime has also taken up a lot of pop culture as of late.
What's she doing?
She's being chibi.
It's true. You don't need an agent.
That's right. I don't want an agent.
Just work with publishers directly, or they self-publish. Yeah.
Doesn't
Yes, it
Amazon
has.
have
It has lost a lot of its stigma. The only downside is because of self-publishing, anybody can publish, and you have to weed through a lot of less than stellar
maybe
books.
you need to publish at the right moment at the right time.
No, I don't think it has to do with that.
I don't know. Sometimes I think it is. Like SAO didn't blow. The whole reason SAO blew up was because at that time people started to dig deep into VR. Oh.
I'm trying to figure out what you. Okay, all right. I was waiting for what was coming next. I write quotes. It says in quotes of it's a spectrum phenomenon, meaning that it's not possible to determine its extent in the population with any degree of certainty. Punchline: a situation that is extremely aggravating to people. That's good. That's a good one. Right, no quality control. Unfortunately. So that was certainly a stigma that hung around for indie authors for a long time, but nowadays it's not as much of a it's not as much of a drawback, and I know some extremely successful indie authors. We work with several of them because we'll also, for whatever reason, lit RPG / game lit books do really well for the most part. It's an extremely popular genre. It's like it's an exploding genre right now. But yeah. I'm trying to think of what other films I've seen recently. Pretty much all films I've seen recently, I list them on Letterboxd. If you guys have a Letterboxd account, it's like a social media movie type account, but it's not really. It's mostly for reviews and ratings and stuff like that. But it's a great account. I mean, it's a great website. I like it a lot, and a really great place to keep track of movies that you want to see. You know, you can put them on your watch list. You can read other people's reviews. Well, I don't know what's RPG source books. What do you mean by that? What I'm referring to are books of fiction that take place almost exclusively inside a game world. So think SAO, if you've ever heard of SAO. So in SAO, they got trapped inside the game world. In the first half of the first season, they were trapped in there. There was my favorite lit RPG series, actually, is The Feedback Loop, written by Harmon Cooper. He writes other types of books too, but that was the first lit RPG book I worked on. I was like, oh wow, this is really good. I really enjoy this. And it's this dude, Quantum Hughes is his name. He gets stuck in this game called The Loop. No, it's called Cyber Noir, sorry, but he calls it The Loop. And the reason I like that is just the dialogue in there is hilarious. The way Jeff did the narration and the character voices in there are so, so good. And the storyline itself feels like there's stuff at stake. So, like in most lit RPG books, most of the time the action's taking place in the game world. And to me personally, that just doesn't interest me at all, especially because in most of the books, there's nothing really at stake. No one's in danger. It's just a game. They're building up and doing all this and that. And it's just like, it's no, for most of the game, for most of the books, it's like that. But Feedback Loop, he was stuck in the game. He couldn't get out of the game. Like, similar to, like, let's say, SAO, except better than SAO. And he does eventually get out of the game, but the book series goes on for a while longer because there's other stuff that's going on. And it does have real world implications, which made it feel like there was a sense of danger, urgency. So it was just really good, really fun. If you like that type of stuff, I highly recommend Harmon Cooper, his series, The Feedback Loop. I hope so. I was talking about that quite a bit earlier. I'm going to be plugged in a lot. I'm going to be out most of the day tomorrow, but I'm going to be checking constantly. So we'll see. Down arguing about whether the glass is half full or half empty misses the point, which is this: the bartender cheated you. That's pretty good. And don't let yourself out because you feel like we're kicking you out. If you have to go, that's cool. But your little jokes are welcome here. They're pretty funny. Maybe easy for you guys, but publishing stuff where I am can get... Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that sucks. Do you use things like VPNs or the Tor network or anything like that? I've been hearing a lot about the dark web on this podcast I listen to called Case File. There have been at least 2 cases that he covered that had to do with the dark web. It was interesting. If you guys like true crime stuff, I highly recommend Case File. That's the name of it. Just Case File. Let me see if I can pull up there. I've talked about it before on here. But it's my favorite. It's my favorite podcast. I'm currently on case number 88, Stephen Hilder. It was a skydiver, and both his main chute and his reserve chute were tampered with. And I'm almost done with it, so I think, yeah, it's almost done. So I think the conclusion that they've come to is that he did it himself. So anyway, it's a great show, very well researched. The narrator's a bit monotone in his delivery, but not boring to me. I enjoy it just because I'm so into, like, that stuff just fascinates me. It's really good. I started off listening to, okay, hold on, let me finish my coffee. It's cold now and that's gross. I started off listening to, oh crap, Crime Junkie. And then I got tired of them because their cases are interesting, but the way they do their format, so they have, I can't remember the main girl's name, the girl who reads the case, what's her name? Ashley, and then there's Courtney. I think that's their names. And they both know what the case is about. Let's say Courtney is the sidekick who sits there, and I think that's her name. If I'm wrong, I'm not doing that intentionally. So she is supposed to be sort of the recipient of what Ashley, the main reader of the case, is. So she's the recipient of the information. And so a lot of times she acts like super shocked. Oh, wow. What? What did he say? But it's obvious that she's faking. And it's really distracting. And that's annoying. So I stopped listening to them. I was like, I can't take this anymore. Then I started listening to this other one, and I can't remember what that one's called. Morbidology, or I started listening to this one. I think it was on the first or second episode, and I think it's hosted by these two girls, just like Crime Junkie, and they said something like, "Fight the patriarchy." I'm like, oh my god. Okay, I'm out. I'm out. I can't. When I hear buzzwords, code words like that, I'm just like, yeah, no. So then I found Case File, and initially I didn't care for Case File because the audio treatment, the audio recording area, it was very reverby and it didn't sound good. But he quickly got to where he improved, and then they added things like some background music and stuff like that, and they would also play interviews with people, real life recordings of things, and so it's my favorite. And I'm only on case 88, and I think there's 250 something or 260. So it's really good. I highly recommend it. Extremely well researched, you guys. And some of these episodes are really long, like hour and a half. And he did one on the Jonestown massacre. And I call it massacre because, you guys, there was stuff about that. Wow, it was insane. So much stuff like I didn't know about. I always thought it was just a mass. They did it to themselves, all of them. That's not how it played out for many of the people. Some of them, yes, but for many of them, it was forced on them. And the way they were positioned, the pictures we've all seen, so it looks like they all laid themselves down peacefully, and they were positioned, and it was horrific. And I think that was a 3 or 4 parter, each one about an hour and a half long. And then he did one on Silk Road. That was maybe 3. And then he did one on the Golden State Killer, who was also known as the East Area Rapist, and also the something vandalized, some whatever. Just really, really good. So interesting. Just fascinating. But I'm drawn to true crime stuff. I don't really care as much for the unsolved things. I think the reason is because I like the unfolding of events and how they end up finding out who did this certain crime or whatever. Okay, use it to access news. Internet blocks on sites not. I'm sure you do. I'm sorry about that. I hate that for you. I could rant about that. I'm sorry. Your sense of humor reminds me a lot of Simon. There was a personal daily from government. Of course. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's a good point. Yes, it is. It's move this. You see a little better? It's David from David. Yeah, I think it's David. David's his character's name in The Lost Boys. This was done by a friend of the family, homeschooling family that we became friends with years ago when I took the kids when they were younger, or when they were in school, and I would take them to like these co-op classes, and we became friends with a family, and her husband is an artist, and he goes around to cons now, the last I knew, right before the world went nuts and ended, his full-time living was going around to cons selling his artwork. And then all this terrible stuff happened in 2020, and I don't know if he's been able to pick back up with that. Yet Jonestown, that man, the stuff he did and the stuff his followers did, especially the people that spoke out, and the stuff that happened at the airport when that, I think it was a representative. I can't remember his name. It was representative or senator. I thought he was a representative. And he goes down there because there was concern about, family members were concerned about their loved ones that had gone down there. And so this guy goes down there, he takes some people with him, and they go down there and they're touring the place, and someone does slip him a note because, most people are like, no, we're fine. They were told to do that. Several of them were told to do that. And this one guy finally is like, I want to leave. And so finally several people do leave with him. They go to the airport. This is I didn't know. They go to the airport and they're attacked at the airport by some of his cronies, the guy's cronies, Jim Jones' cronies. And they killed the representative. He got killed there, and some other people. It was like, wow, this is like something out of a movie. It was insane, the stuff that went on, and like people dying mysterious deaths who had spoken out, like former members who had spoken out. It was, and the way he treated his was not this like, so like he started off being like a religious leader, a true, religious type leader. And then he just completely separated from that. And it was absolutely all about him he was a communist, for one thing. Well, that should tell you something. And it became, so that was the whole point of Jonestown. They're going to have this communist little commune and everything. And it didn't go very well. And then he started getting just, his position went to his head. And he was mistreating the people, and he would get the people in the group to, they would beat on people who had complained or who'd messed up in some small way. It was just the story that this guy covered in Case File. It was so thorough, and I was engrossed the whole time with it. And I like Case File because I can have it playing while I'm doing stuff around the house. Okay. Hope you have a good day of work. Stay well. Stay safe. Yeah, he was a congressman. So he was a representative, right? He wasn't a senator. I don't think he was a senator. When I hear congressman, I think representative or senator. But I believe he was a representative. But yeah, that was crazy. I never knew all that stuff. Not at all. I thought it was just, and they were holding people down, injecting them. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. What? Okay, yeah, he was a representative. Oh, it's just, jeez. And what else? I'm trying to think of some of the other cases I've heard. The one about the East Area rapist / Golden State Killer / whatever vandal something. That was a long one too. That took forever to solve. They also used to call him the original Night Stalker or something like that. Yeah, that was. Yeah, he did. And the stuff that happened to people that left the cult and spoke out, these mysterious deaths that happened, I don't think they were accidental at all. The man was just pure, and he was all doped up and hooked on different drugs and stuff. And he had all these rules. So, it reminds me a little bit of David Koresh, right? Where he would just he would basically lay claim to the women, various women in the group, and he would tell everybody else they needed to be celibate, but no, he needed to do this thing because he was God or something. I mean, he was just so screwed up in the head. That man was crazy. He was crazy. Oh Lord. Okay. What else? Movies. I'm still on Letterboxd looking at different films. I'm gonna look at my watch list. I've added some of those, the ones you guys mentioned. I've also added a movie called Zeros and Ones with Ethan Hawke. I'm really looking forward to Black Phone. I hope that's gonna be good. I think it will be. I'm watching a movie on Shudder right now called Blood Vessel, and it's about vampires on this Nazi ship. Excuse me. Right? Exactly. There was a series on Investigation Discovery that they did about the BTK killer and BTK guy, and one of the actresses who was doing like reenactment in there, I think she played two parts in there. I thought it was that series. Maybe it was another series. Anyway, she was playing his mother in like the reenactment scenes, and she's one of the actresses who works with us. Is that the TV movie that came out shortly after? I think they started filming it before the whole thing happened down there. I think he was still alive when they started filming it, and then, unless this is something else, like a documentary or some other. I've only seen the one. No, I don't think. Wait. There was one I recently listened to. What was the lady's name? Oh, shoot. I don't remember if that took place in Oregon. I think they were part of like this church, the Truth Fellowship, something like that. No, that wasn't mid 1980s. Sorry, this was more recent. This was something else. But it wasn't really about the story wasn't really about the church. It was about the husband. Okay, so it's a documentary. Let me look it up. The thing about Waco that's just frustrating is that I feel like David Koresh he reminds me a lot of like Jim Jones, right? But the way it was handled felt like it was done so wrong and so screwed up. Yeah. That they murdered all the people in the wake of, yeah, that was just, I have not seen this documentary. This is from 1997. Wow, it's been a bit. So it's like this, it's a weird mixture of like sadness because of what happened to everybody inside, but also annoyance and anger because of Koresh himself. So, okay. Right. The siege wasn't over. They were filming it when the siege was happening. And then not the siege, the standoff, when the standoff was happening, and then it happened. And I remember the actor, can't remember his name, but I know who he is. He was saying how weird it was that, now he's playing somebody that was dead. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. We're just talking about a bunch of different stuff. And when I started off the stream, I set my timer so that I wouldn't go too late. So I have about 15 minutes left, I think. Yeah, I know, right? It's like, well, they killed them. They're dead because of how the ATF acted. So it's that's terrible. It was a really, I just could have been done better, I feel. I mean, jeez. Right. Yeah, it was just feels like they could have taken it, because from what I understand, from what I remember, there were various times that he could have taken they could have taken him in without doing what they did, and I can't remember why they didn't, if they felt like they didn't have enough yet to justify bringing him in, but to attack the compound the way that they did, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Oh, what's the name of it? Interesting. What's the name of that channel? I'll look her up. I'll sub to her. Let me see. See if I'm logged into YouTube on this browser. Okay, yeah. I know, right? Jeez. Yep. Yeah, it's frustrating because when people in power misuse their power, there's not a whole lot you feel like can be done to push back against stuff like that. It's kind of scary. So, okay. Well, I've got this one in my watch list. And what else do I have in my watch list? I added other things. Oh yeah, I did a review of Everything Everywhere All at Once. I actually think that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, is better than Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Oh, sorry. They violated the Constitution by using federal troops. They violated national law and chemical weapons. Well, yeah. Yeah. That wouldn't have been impactful enough, would it have? Wouldn't have sent the message that they wanted to send. So, and the thing is, they ended up making themselves look even worse than at Ruby Ridge, and Ruby Ridge was bad enough. Oh, hey, Galen. How are you doing? Isn't it good? Artur and I are going to go see it tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing it again. That movie has been on my brain since I watched it last week. So good. Really good. Colin should be here. I posted on my Discord. I put it on my Discord. I put the link to the live stream in the live stream segment or channel on my Discord, but I guess they didn't see it. Simon usually pops in on the chat, but he might be sleeping now. It is really late. Yep. And that was motivation for him to do what he did. Yeah, we're doing good. Busy. Haven't seen you in a while, but yeah. It's nice to see you popping in here. What other movies have you seen recently? I'm going to go see Jurassic World, the next Jurassic World next week. I already bought my ticket. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll be good. We'll see. I saw that Laura Dern was saying something about how the age difference between her and Sam Neill, she felt like it was inappropriate. But the thing is, so she was apparently in her early 20s when she filmed that movie. And I don't know, he was like, what, 20 years older than her? She didn't look like she was in her early 20s. She looked like she's in her 30s in that movie. I'm a terrible judge of age, but I'm not the only one who thought she looked like she was in her mid 30s in that film. So I thought that was kind of silly that she came out and said that. That was like, what? What? I like certain documentaries, um, mostly true crime documentaries. That's it. Sometimes I'll watch political type documentaries, but not often because they just kind of tend to make me angry. Um, I watched a really good documentary called The Magic Pill. I think it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is. But typically, true crime type stuff is what I like the most. Oh, okay. I bet you did. Bet you did. She was probably like, "What's going on?" Did you take her to see Everything Everywhere All at Once? That one was a mind blower. Let me tell you. Right? She did. I thought she did. And so to me, and they weren't really presented hugely as a big romantic couple. I mean, that wasn't really the focus of the film. And so even if it was, they didn't look like they were horribly mismatched. I never even thought anything of it until I saw her yapping about it recently. I was just like, that didn't make any sense. Oh gosh. Are you joking? Are you joking, Alex? Really? Okay, I didn't know there was a movie of his, and unless you're joking. Yeah, he probably did. Poor Colin. That's funny. Yeah, that's I like some history documentaries too. It all depends on the type. I thought that the documentary that the History Channel did about the czars of Russia many years ago, like back in the early 2000s, I thought that was very well done. I like that a lot. Oh, yeah, you guys saying hi. Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to be wrapping up in about 10 minutes too. I didn't want to be on here too late. I've got stuff I want to do, and I don't want to stay up too late because I want to get up early-ish in the morning. I have work. I also want to be tuned into the jury watch, and then I have to be somewhere tomorrow for most of the day. So, World War II in color. Y'all up for a three-parter to end the evening? Okay. Okay, what? What? Apocalypse. Will it? Okay, so here's the thing. If it's out on audio, I might be more inclined to finish it because I still have not finished it. And I haven't forgotten about it, but I haven't finished it. It's right here beside my desk. I mean, beside where I sit. Right? Sorry, dogs. Right here. So I haven't put it away and forgotten about it, but I really don't often sit down and read. This is why I love audiobooks, because when I'm sitting down and reading, my mind gets distracted with things that I know that I have to take care of, and I can't focus as much as I would like to. I used to voraciously read. That was the way I always consumed stories. But then after I became a mother and busier with homeschool, and then I was working for my dad, and then my husband and I had a window cleaning company that we operated. I didn't have the time to sit down and read, and that made me really sad because I love to read. And so then that's when I started listening to audiobooks. I started listening to them probably close to 20 years ago. And so with audiobooks, I can do things around the house and I can listen to stories. So I can consume stories while also being productive and doing other things that I need to take care of. So let me know when that's available on your YouTube or whatever, and I'll tune into that. Oh, Elvis. Yeah. I've seen the trailer for that. Someone asked me to do a reaction to the trailer for that, but I've already seen the trailer. I guess I could review, like, I mean, I could film a commentary about it, but I've seen the trailer. I'm not super into Elvis. And at first, when it was showing the guy who's playing him, I've never seen him before. Is he like an Aussie or a Brit or something? Wouldn't surprise me. But when I first saw him, I was like, I don't think so. But then when it was showing other parts of him performing, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see it a little bit. I can see it a little bit. No. I thought you were totally joking. Are they having like he's like returning to the big screen or something? Okay. I did not know that was Tim Burton's first theatrical film. Holy cow. Okay. Oh, okay. You're gonna go see Lightyear? Okay. Favorite war movie. Favorite war movie. I'm not super into war movies. One of my I guess one of my favorite films that takes place in that time-ish, and it's probably gonna sound really cheesy, y'all. Shining Through with Melanie Griffith and Michael Douglas and Liam Neeson. Because it was like a spy sort of type of thing. I also thought like a romancy type of thing. I actually really like that film. It's not necessarily a World War II movie. I can't think of World War II movies, specifically movies focused on the war. I mean, Shining Through sort of is, because it takes place in that time and she's going behind enemy lines to do this, this mission. I thought it was good. I don't know. And I don't know if I'll go see it. I know I said, nah, I won't, but then I changed my mind about Top Gun but I'm not into Elvis. I like his songs, like some of his songs better than like, let's say the Beatles, but Elvis, I don't know. I don't know. Just not really into him too much. At 30, we are impatient that we haven't made more progress towards achieving our potential. At 40, we are nervously aware that the opportunities to achieve our potential are slipping away. But at 50, if we have the courage to look in the mirror, we face the crushing realization there is no unachieved potential left, that what we have done is our potential. Please pass the hemlock. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Are you narrating it yourself? Yeah, I think they're talking. Austin Butler. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him before. And the reason I mentioned he's probably an Aussie or a Brit, I don't know, he might not be. But the reason I mention that is because so many times actors from over there come over here. They're really good actors. And they're really good. Most of them are really good at mimicking the American dialect. Let's see, I already saw that. The guy who plays Elvis is the guy who played Tex Watt. I saw what's. Oh! That's him. Okay. I had no idea. Okay, so Arturo, the guy who plays Elvis, is the guy who played one of the bad cult guys in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Wow. I did not know that was him. So Elvis is the first time I noticed him as an actor. I had no clue. Thank you for letting me know that. Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. Backlash against Loki play. Really? Why? Because he's not American? Is that why? I mean, I don't personally care if someone, like, let's say, if a Brit is playing an American. I don't care. If they can convincingly portray that character, they can, mask their accent and whatever. What I have an issue with a lot of times, most of the time, is when they swap genders of established characters and when they swap races. I don't like that. That really gets under my skin. But if someone from another location comes and plays a character from our location, that doesn't bother me in itself. That's the only thing I can think of why they didn't like. I mean, I don't know why they didn't. I didn't hear about that. Bye, Storm Shadow. Take care. He mentioned that he was Tex Watson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So if you saw that. I have experience doing audio. Would be simultaneously releasing a demon orient. Oh, Okay. Interesting. Cool. So I guess you know how to treat your room and how to like process the audio. You're going to be using Audacity. Audacity is excellent. I love that. We don't use that to record our audiobooks, but whenever I record something, and when all my audiobooks were recorded with Audacity, and now Audacity can do punch and roll. So that's great. Oh, he is. Okay. I had no idea because I didn't know who he was. I had no clue who he was. All right, back to my watch list. Looking at things I've added. There's this movie called Museum that I want to see. It's a Japanese film, I think. It's called Museum. It came out in 2016. Well, there goes my timer. About time to wrap it up. But I can't find it anywhere. I can't find it. So maybe one day. Anyway, I want to see that because it looks good. Good night. And no thanks are necessary. Everything you said was welcome here. So thank you for making me laugh. That was fun. Yes, Audacity. Yeah. Audacity's great. Okay, well, my timer has gone off and I've got más cosas que hacer. I got more things I got to do. So I'm going to, oh gosh, my brothers, hold on. Some sort of funny Amber Heard stuff that my brother sent me. I'll check that out when I sign off. So I'm going to sign off. These 2 hours went by really quickly, you guys. I would hang around longer if I didn't have stuff I have to do and if I didn't have, want to get up early tomorrow and all that. Yes, fun. Thanks, Joe. Thank you so much. Learn about the lady. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, for your kind words. Very nice. Oh, okay. That was to Arturo. So, okay. Bye, you guys. I enjoyed it. And my next one like this will probably be July. I want to say the 27th is when my first, video. I published the first video that's related to what this channel is about. I can't remember, but that'll probably be the next type of chat like this. Before that, we'll probably have another movie live stream discussion about 2005 movies and shows and things. And of course, I'll announce it when it's time. But in the meantime, I hope you guys stay well. And I don't know when my next video for here is going to go up because I'm still editing stuff and all that. So we'll see. Okay. Thank you very much for that. I never ask you guys to do that. It just feels weird. But hope you guys have a wonderful evening, wonderful rest of your week, and stay well, stay healthy, stay safe. We'll see you guys later. Bye.